role of media in ensuring or safeguarding democracy in India. As we all know, democracy is a form of government wherein we are the people, or we the people exercise powers. So whatever decision government is taking, that is with the help of us, or whatever vision will we have, that is reflecting to the government. So directly or indirectly, we are representing our representatives, we are electing our representatives, and they are deciding according to our vision will. So in this process, we say or we call it as democracy, and our country is considered as the largest, world's largest democratic nation. Now, if you say there is democracy in a country or democracy is prevalent in a country, we can say that democracy protect freedom, that democracy promote equality, that democracy fosters the conflict resolution, and it encourages accountability and transparency in the process. And at the same time, that democracy supports economic and social progress. So we can say a democracy is successful only if that democracy is able to do all these things. That is, it is able to ensure freedom, promote equality, peaceful settlement of disputes, encourages accountability and transparency, and finally, it encourages economic and social progress. Now, that democracy, or if a country wants to see that the democracy is performing these solemn roles in that country, they need one important aspect. That is what? Information. So we the people can effectively participate in the democratic process of the country only if we have information. Now, how this information will help us to ensure a proper democracy in the country? You all know, without information, we cannot participate in decision-making process. So decision-making process is something which is very essential for a democracy. And we need to participate in that, either directly or indirectly through our representatives. Now, how we can interfere in that? Only through information. And second reason for having information is to ensure accountability and transparency. Only if we come to know about what is happening in the country, how the process is going on, then only we can think about accountability as well as ensuring liability or fixing liability. And if we have this type of information, we will be able to take corrective measures so that we can strengthen our democratic process. So, in any country where democracy is there, we need information. With information only, we will be able to strengthen the democratic process in a country. In that process, in our country, especially a country like India, from where we are getting information, we are getting information through media only. So our major source of information nowadays is media, be it online media or offline newspaper or something like that, or multimedia, whatever it is. The collectively we can say media supplies information to the people. So if anything goes wrong in that information, that will adversely affect the democratic process. So as a country like India, where large number of or millions of population is there, we are all depending on the fourth estate for getting information. With that information, we need to participate in our democratic process. Now, that is the significance of media in our country. So, what is the role of media in democratic process of India? I can tell you, the media will provide necessary information. Thereby, it will equip the citizens to effectively participate in the democratic process. That effective participation of citizens in the democratic process will ensure a successful democracy in the country. So information is very important. That is the cornerstone for the success of democracy. Then only people will be able to interfere. And that process or that role is being performed by media. Now, media may not directly also, media both directly as well as indirectly doing this. Like we may read news from the newspaper, we will watch the television channels or online discussions, etc. At the same time, there are some people, they will upload, even all the media houses having their own YouTube channel or social media platform, they will upload these discussions in their platforms so that that will also reach to the people. So in this present situation or in this present century, we all are reading or getting information more than directly from media, but we are all depending on social media also. So whatever information being circulated in the name of a media, in the online or other social media platforms, that will have a huge impact on the democratic process. Because with that information, we are going to participate in the democratic process. Now, if anything goes wrong in that information, we can call it as fake news. So, media, the role of media in this present democratic process is ensuring their informations are proper and authentic and authoritative. And they are not promoting any fake news. Now, along with fake news, that is misinformation or wrong information, other than fake information, fake news, there is one more thing which may happen. That is the cooked up news or fabricated news or given some addition to the news. There may be something, but it may be more added with some irrelevant facts. So both fake news as well as fabricated news are dangerous to democratic process. So in India, what we are expecting from media or what role media is supposed to do to ensure our democratic process, to prevent publication or propagation of fake news. That is one thing. Second thing, to prevent publication and propagation of fabricated news. So this is the role we are expecting from the media. Now, when we see this type of misinformation or fake news as well as fabricated news, it will definitely adversely affect democracy. And how it will adversely affect democracy? One way is it will create distrust in institutions. Because when we hear wrong information about government and other agencies, we start distrusting those institutions. So we may not be able to work or participate effectively with them. Secondly, public opinion will be manipulated. So these informations, fake news and fabricated news, which can manipulate the public opinion, it can also influence electoral process. When we go for an election, if there is a fake news, that reflection is there in the voting procedure also. Then social media. We all know how social media is creating news and spreading it. It can reach to millions of people in a fraction of a minute. So it can cause a huge impact in the society. Even it will lead to polarization in the society. It can divide the people based on their culture, their religion, ethnicity, politics, etc., etc., etc. So that polarization can also happen. Then policy decisions. Now, the government may come up with some good policies or good practices, but due to this fake or fabricated news, the people may go against that. And as a result, the government agency may try to withhold or withdraw that policy. And that will adversely again affect our democratic process. And above all this, There are very serious threat because of fake and fabricated news. It can cause threat to millions of people's life. When some sort of fake news or fabricated news is publishes or propagates, it may cause problem, law and order problem in the society. Thereby, there can be chances of commission of crime. People may lose their life. There are several incidents we have seen. Again, economic consequences are there. That is, like recently we have seen some information about a particular businessman. And when a fake news or fabricated news publishes about a businessman and his business practice, it will have a huge impact on the share value of that business house. So it can cause huge economic loss, and that ultimately cause our national economy, and it will have an impact on our democratic process as such. So this way, misinformation, that is fake news or uh, fabricated news, will have a strong impact on our democratic process. So we expect the media will take a lead role in preventing those type of fake news and fabricated news. Now, how we can ensure the media is not involved in or media is not propagating any fake or fabricated news? There are so many solutions. It's a cliche solution, in fact. So many solutions are there, but still, I would say what can be done. One is the sensible or ethical behavior on the part of media personnel itself. When we act or when we make a news, when we describe something, we should be very clear about that. We should be we should do a thorough fact checking on that. And based on that only, we should create a news and publish it. So that ethical or responsible behavior we are expecting from media persons. So that can solve a lot of issues regarding misinformation and fake news. So that media ethical behavior or ethical behavior of the media persons, that is very important here. Second thing is fact checking mechanism. Then certain informations appear, instead of publishing it by everyone, they have to do a little fact checking on that. Every institutions have their own mechanisms. Every media house have their own mechanisms. They can easily verify the veracity of this news, whether it is real, is it correct, or what is the real truth behind that? What are the different sides of that issue? All these things they can check very effectively. So that fact checking we expect from media houses. Then social media platforms. Even media houses also, they have their own social media platform, but sometimes they will make some sort of description, and finally that will end in some sort of conflict or disputes. So they have to prevent that type of disputes or conflicts, because the public is listening them and acting accordingly. So if a news goes and if it is not proper or correct, it can cause damage in the public's mind. And ultimately it will cause law and order problem, economic consequences, all these things. So that social media platform, while handling social media platform, media should ensure utmost care to prevent any sort of circulation of fake news and fabricated news. Then journalism ethics. It is something which is very important. They have to ensure or they have to follow utmost ethical standards and transparency in their news creation, production, circulation, and publication. So that ethical responsibility or ethical standard, even media can have their own ethical standards. There are several houses they are having ethical standards, but still that has to be strengthened to avoid any sort of publication or circulation of fabricated or fake news. Then technological solution. That is one of the important thing in this particular scenario we can use. We have AI mechanisms and machine learning. They can easily detect fake news, like some images and everything. Image search and everything is there. Whenever an image is being uploaded, they can easily identify, is it a real image or is it a fabricated image, everything. So Using this AI technology or modern technology like AI and machine learning, the media houses can ensure they are not involved in propagating or publishing fake or fabricated news. And finally, public also should be very aware because we, the public, always depend media for having information. But at the same time, we should be very clear about the fact these informations, what are being circulated through media, is not always correct. We should also think ourselves to what extent this information is correct. There may be some manipulation, there may be some fabrication. So we should also believe, or we should also be responsible while believing an information received through media. So if that be the case, we can ensure the media is performing their role perfectly. So this is what we expect in this particular scenario, the role of, in India, the role of our media. So being the fourth estate or fourth pillar of democracy, they are very strong and they need to be very strong and they should make sure that they are acting in a very responsible way to prevent any sort of circulation or publication of fabricated and fake news. So this way, our media can greatly contribute and they can in fact uphold democracy in our country. So thank you for the great opportunity. I'm happy to take any question. Thank you so much. I will be speaking about role of media in ensuring or safeguarding democracy in India. As we all know, democracy is a form of government wherein we are the people or we the people exercise powers. So whatever decision government is taking, that is with the help of us or whatever vision will we have, that is reflecting to the government. So directly or indirectly, we are representing our representatives, we are electing our representatives, and they are deciding according to our vision will. So in this process, we say or we call it as democracy, and our country is considered as the largest, world's largest democratic nation. Now, if you say there is democracy in a country or democracy is prevalent in a country, we can say that democracy protect freedom, that democracy promote equality, that democracy fosters the conflict resolution, and it encourages accountability and transparency in the process. And at the same time, that democracy supports economic and social progress. So we can say a democracy is successful only if that democracy is able to do all these things. That is, it is able to ensure freedom, promote equality, peaceful settlement of disputes, encourages accountability and transparency, and finally, it encourages economic and social progress. Now, that democracy, or if a country wants to see that the democracy is performing these solemn roles in that country, there need one important